Hello, welcome to another episode of Small Doses with Laura Sale. Go ahead and click like, click share, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. You can also find me on Spotify and other places where you listen to your podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that I kind of think is a fun topic. So recently, some young friends of mine were having a little discussion on Facebook about the accessibility that we all have. So apparently, some celebrity, I don't remember who it was, it's insignificant, posted a video stating that if he called you, you needed to answer his calls on the first ring, or at least answer his calls and respond right away. Or if you couldn't respond right away, you needed to call him back right away. Don't send him a text message or a text response, and that was just disrespectful. And if you did that, he was just not going to have anything else to do with you. So in conversation with some other friends, a younger generation expects this accessibility. Now, don't get me wrong. I have my moments when accessibility is good, and then sometimes it's not so good. I've always had this theory that just because someone knocks on your door or rings your doorbell or calls you on your telephone doesn't mean you have to answer your door or your telephone. Because why? It's your door and your telephone. I guess I grew up in the era where we didn't have that natural automatic accessibility. We didn't walk around with a Google machine in our hands 24 hours a day. So I often think about the times when I would want to call my mom when she was at work. And the rule was you had best have a really big emergency if you call mom at work, because she has to walk down a hallway, leaving her classroom to answer this telephone. So I call it the eyeball in the hand emergency. And so if your eyeball was not in your hand and you were not in the ambulance on your way to the hospital to be hospitalized yourself, it was probably not an emergency. So therefore, we had to learn to figure it out, make it happen, solve the problem, and everything was fine. And at the end of the day, when you were home alone with mom, you told her about what happened, how you handled it, and how it ended. Either it was resolved and she wasn't needed in the first place, or this was a matter she could now look into since she was no longer at her job. Well, nowadays, we are fortunate enough to all, pretty much anybody who wants one or really needs one, has access to a cellular telephone. Whether you have a plan with a big reputable company, or you have pay as you go telephone from Dollar General. I mean, people have telephones now, and we could pretty much call whomever we want, whenever we want, and get a response or expect a response. But my take about that is still, I don't have to answer my phone just because I have a phone. So I even have a situation, a rule with my children. It's still the eyeball in your hand rule. If it's an emergency and I don't answer, call back. And if I still don't answer, call again. So even if I'm not with my phone, whenever I am back with my phone, I will see that you made 3 attempts to reach me, and then I will know that I need to call you back because something is probably not going your way. So I had a young person say, you mean to tell me even your children have to call you multiple times if it's an emergency? Yeah, because just because I have a cell phone and I have access to said cell phone, freedom agrees, doesn't mean I have to answer your call when you call me, because I could be busy, I could be ill, I could not necessarily have my phone on my person or anywhere near me. My phone might be on silent. I didn't hear it ring. So for many reasons, yes, you need to call me 3 times if it's an emergency. Having the telephone is great. And It's necessary. I think everybody should have one. But I think it is unrealistic and it's not practical to feel that you are entitled to have access to someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. First of all, I pay for this telephone and the service that's on it. So I don't have to answer if I don't want to. Now, when you start paying for my service or paying for my device, then we can discuss how accessible to you I need to be, which that brings up my next point. When my children were living in my home and they had cell phones that I was paying for, my rule was if I call you, you answer. Now, it doesn't have to be a verbal answer. You could text me and you could say, Mom, I can't answer right now. What's going on? But for the telephone I paid for and the service I paid for, there was an expectation. If I call said phone should be answered by somebody. That's just real talk. Now, I don't know what kind of situations people have with their kids, but that was a situation with mine. They're adults now. They don't have to answer. They don't have to text. They can respond when they want to respond because I respect that. This is your space and time, and you can allow people in it as you choose to. A lot of people think that, yes, you should answer right away. And I guess they have the right to think that, but they don't have the right to assume that everybody on the other side is going to answer or respond. I have had people tell me your voicemail box is full. I know. My voicemail box has been full almost 10 years now. I've had 3 or 4 different telephones, and because your voicemail transfers to your next telephone, it's still full. Well, why in the world, Laracel, would you have your voicemail box be full and you are aware of it? For one, I don't like to listen to the messages. 2, once I see that you have called me when I pick up my telephone, I will probably just text you or call you back. I don't need a message because most messages are the same. Hey girl, I'm sorry I missed you. I didn't want anything. Why do I want to listen to that over and over again? I love my friends, I love my family, but that's a message I don't need. I clearly see that you've called me and you missed me. You don't need to tell me that. Yeah. So my voicemail box is full intentionally. I don't need 100 messages with the same thing saying I missed you. Now it's different for me because I'm not in the market looking for jobs, so I'm not expecting a potential employer to call me. I darn sure don't want no messages from any potential bill collectors. Just kidding, I don't have those. But again, it's my device. I pay for the service to have it for my own convenience, not for your convenience to be able to reach me. So think about that. Let's not be selfish in assuming that because I showed up at your house, you're supposed to answer your door. Back when I was still dating and I had my own place, my current husband, who at the time was my boyfriend, had come to my apartment a couple of times, and I got right up, looked through the peephole, saw who it was, didn't want to be bothered with him or anybody else, turned right around and sat back down and let them leave. Of course, there's a trick to it. If your television is on, you got to hit that mute button real quick. I've sat in my apartment and watched people come and go. If I didn't want to be bothered, I didn't want to be bothered. Didn't mean anything was wrong with me, wasn't sad, wasn't depressed. Sometimes you just don't want people in your space. And that's what happens when you drop by unannounced to visit people. They may not want to be bothered with you. But some people are really nice and they will open the door and let you in and then be miserable. So one of my young friends, he's kind of like a son. He's one of the good friends to one of my kids. He has a shirt that says, protect your energy. Shout out to you, Zach. I agree with that 100%. Protect your energy. Whether it's the energy you may have to get out to answer your phone, your energy you may have to put out to answer your door. There's nothing wrong with protecting your energy. So, for all of my friends who are out here thinking that if people don't answer the phone when you call them, consider A, they may not have their phone with them, because if they're of a if they are of a different generation, they are not likely walking around with what I have started calling mine the Google machine in their hand. Okay, we don't have it in our purse all the time. We don't have it in our pockets. We don't always just walk around with our telephones. Okay, and even if we did, we may be in a meeting. We might not feel well. The phone may be off. The ringer may be off. Or we just might not want to be bothered. Think about that. A text message, and I often tell people this when I give my number to people. I always say, text me first. Because if your number is not saved in my phone and I don't recognize the number, I'm probably not going to answer it, because that's another thing. I don't answer unknown numbers. I just don't do it. The spam calls, oh my gosh. And I have the app on my phone. I get these calls all the time and my app blocks all of them, but the phone still does ring. So I don't, and it doesn't catch all of them, because these people get smarter every day and they find a way to get around your app. But yeah, so I don't answer numbers that I don't recognize. I don't care if you're a cousin, aunt, uncle, friend. If you are known to me and you get a new phone and a new phone number, you might want to text me and let me know, hey, I got a new phone number, if you're thinking I'm going to answer your call, because I don't just answer every call that comes to my telephone. Okay, so send a text message and say, hey, you got a minute? I need to ask you a question, or I wanted to call you about something. Because that way, if I'm in a meeting or if I'm not well or whatever the case may be, I can look at said text message and respond. Hey, yeah, give me 5 minutes. Let me call you back, or 5 minutes and give me a call, or no, it's not a good time. I don't feel well, or my kid is sick, or I'm not at home right now. I'm not free to talk right now. So there's got to be some, I guess, new etiquette to go along with the cell phones, because you don't have a right to me all the time. Don't think that just because you have a cell phone and I have a cell phone and I probably have it with me, that I want to talk to you. And it might not be personal. It might not be, I don't want to talk to you. I might not want to talk to anybody. So just consider that everybody has their moments where they just need some quiet time. And that quiet time might just be the moment you decided to give them a call. So let's practice some cell phone etiquette. And since we have them, unless you're texting someone like my dad who's 90 and he doesn't text, unless you're going to talk to someone like that, then go ahead and give them a call. They may answer. But if you are calling someone who doesn't text, then by all means call them. If you're going to call someone who does text, shoot them a text message first and just check in. Hey, it's Larcel. I'm just checking to see if you're busy. I just wanted to chat for a minute. Or I need to run something by you. Or I need to ask a question. Or I need to ask your opinion. If they text back, it's not a good time. Or they may text back and say, I can't talk right now, but can you text me your concern? Otherwise, just learn to be patient. And here's my take on, for those of you who want to just not have anything else to do with people who don't have time to talk to you today. Bye. You can delete my number, because if you're that simple-minded and thinking that I owe you a response because you called me on my phone that I pay the bill for, you're probably not someone I want to be bothered with ever. So there you have that. So for all of you who feel you are so important that all of your calls should be answered immediately when you call them, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. because I am not the one. You can't dictate to me when and how to answer my phone. So that's just been another small episode of Small Doses with Laura Sell. It's just my small take on a small situation that's not even really a problem, but I just thought it was something fun and funny that there are people walking around who feel offended if you text them a response or don't answer their phone call. So Freedom says it's time to go. So thanks for tuning in. Click like, click share, and have a great day. It's been another episode of Small Doses with Laura Sell, and we'll see you another time. Bye.